Cuba, it's me. Welcome to episode 346 of the W.I.L.L.I.W show, which stands for Wrestling is Life. Life is Wrestling. And I have another shirt to add to the W.I.L.L.I.W show wall. The Hot Mess Express shirt. I was an honorary member of the Hot Mess Express for one night. Love the shirt, love the colors. Looks like cotton candy. And it'll try and make a spot here. I believe it'll get in the camera somewhere like that. Anyway, today's episode is all about coping skills, depression in wrestling. In wrestling, you get the highs are the highest of the highs, and the lows are the lowest of the lows. Most performers, whether they're a manager, referee, a wrestler, an announcer, really expect a lot of themselves. Most of the people I know that are involved in the wrestling business are perfectionists and try to do every single thing right. And everybody makes mistakes. I don't think anybody's ever done anything perfect in wrestling. But I noticed that for myself especially, one little thing, you can harp on it over and over for days and days and days. And sometimes you just don't get over these things. And how do you deal with that? Like for me, the highs are so great. When I have a good match, or let's say I have a great match, then I still think it's only good. If I have a good match, I think it's okay. But still, when you get a lot of compliments, even if you have high standards for yourself and people are telling you good things, that can last for days, weeks, sometimes even months or a lifetime. Some of the matches I've had still bring a huge smile to my face thinking of them and thinking of people's reactions and stuff like that. But how to deal with the lows? Like, let's say you did something wrong. Well, that doesn't always matter if the fans don't notice, but what if it's glaringly obvious? Or, someone said something negative about you, or you had a setback, or you didn't perform up to your standards, or perhaps sometimes it can be just somebody giving you advice or talking down to you when you either have no respect for them or don't even like them, or don't feel like they have any right to be telling you anything. Half the time it's when you didn't even ask. For me, I'm lucky that I have the cameraman, so no matter what happens in wrestling, I always say, hey, this is not your life. Wrestling is life, life is wrestling, but this is your true life, is being the father of a cameraman. So I can always resort to that and escape from the wrestling world when I'm not feeling it, which is not very often. Like, yes, I am very hard on myself, but I'm able to get over it and just keep pushing forward. And it motivates me too. It motivates me to do better the next time. And I don't really think that I've ever thought of quitting. Why would I ever want to quit? Because shouldn't people just get better and better, or practice makes perfect, something along those lines? I always just wanted to wrestle. I didn't care if I won or lose. In fact, I always wanted to do the Kurt Hawkins thing. I never thought I should ever win a match in the history of my career. I thought that'd be so cool if I was just the guy that had like the losing streak for like 18 years. How amazing would that be? Obviously, some of the people that, the companies that I wrestle for had different plans, and I do what I'm told. I'm not much of an arguer. Like, I will bring up a point here and there, but it's never about if I care about winning or not. I could care less. I always felt like the sympathy would get me over. Like, I shouldn't have to win to get the fans' respect. As long as I worked hard, gave them lots of energy, and provided good quality entertainment and a good competitive matchup, then they'd be disappointed if I lost, but they would still respect and be fans of me. But I want to know from you guys, like, how do you deal with that stuff? Like, sometimes I pick my nails. I used to pick my nails a lot, and then I decided, you know what? Instead of having 10 ugly fingernails, I'm just going to pick the one nail, and then I can always just say, oh, I got it caught in something, and then at least my other nails are nice. But sometimes I pick this one nail, it's this one, and I pick it so bad it gets like, it's only like half a nail, and it's like the raw red skin underneath. And sleeping is an issue. My brain won't shut off when there's something that's bothering me, because like, I always remember as a kid, people used to say, if you think about something before you go to sleep, you'll wake up with the solution. My brain doesn't work that way. I have to figure it out, or I cannot sleep. And unfortunately, you would think, oh, well, when something goes right, you must have the greatest sleep ever. No, my adrenaline is through the roof that it's even worse. I can even sleep even less when I'm positive and when I'm happy about stuff. But yeah, wrestling can be a really hard business. Like it's a live performance of improv and physical athletic maneuvers performed, and one tiny little thing that's off, one little error, one little mistake can be huge. It can ruin the entire match, or it can ruin your entire night, or it could just change everything. It could cause an injury. It could cause the audience who are suspending their disbelief to snap out of it and realize that it's not what they were, because people get lost in the moment and they start to feel, I feel even nowadays with people know so much about wrestling that they still can get lost in the moment and caught up in it, but sometimes you slip up and do one thing that just can ruin it all, and all the momentum you built up can be lost. I just really want to help people, like they have the Bell Let's Talk thing with mental health and stuff like that, especially with wrestlers. Like they get their heads beat up a lot. There's a lot of addictions in everything in their life, but in wrestling too. And there's a lot of stuff with mental health where people, it's hard being a wrestler. People don't realize that like I seen that thing yesterday. There was a piece on like CTV London, Ontario news with like some of the Smash Wrestling guys like Cody Deaner and Tyson Dukes and Sebastian, and they were saying how a lot of people think how glamorous it is being an indie wrestler, how it really is not very glamorous. And I mean, the shows are great. It's great when you go to a show, but it's not like anything else is great. You're not like Ric Flair. I think it was Deaner that said that, but it really made me realize that other people view us way better than we view ourselves a lot of the times. I mean, you have to have an ego. You have to think that you're capable of being the best, whether you are the best or not. I think, anyway, you're capable, you have it in you to be something, or so why would you start? If you don't think you could be a good wrestler, why would you even want to wrestle? Like, to me, it's obvious. And it's so weird, because it's hard to describe what I'm trying to say, but like, I'm my own worst critic, and I'm a perfectionist, but I don't think I have a low self-esteem. I think highly of myself. I'm confident. I know what I'm capable of. I've proved myself so many times to myself in the past that I'm capable of anything. I can do all the roadblocks I've had in my way. I've always overcome everything. But so you think it'd be easy. You know what? You just go back and say, hey, look how this worked out. Remember when you were down and then that next match, how great it was? I wish it was that easy, but somehow it's just not. Like, no matter, like I said, I don't have a low self-esteem, but I can, and I don't even think I'm ever got depressed. I wouldn't say it's depressed. I think it's like obsessed. Like I just obsess over little things where I think I'm getting better with just trying to be the positives, looking at the positives instead of the negatives. It's like, okay, this one move wasn't the greatest, but there was 22 other minutes where everything was great. Like, and you know what? And plus, I think now I appreciate it more. Like I said, because I have the cameraman in life. For a longest time, wrestling was life. Life was wrestling, and it still is. But now there's more to life as well. There's other things. Where before that was pretty much all I had. So when wrestling wasn't going good, I could say that it reflected on my entire life. Now I have that escape where, yes, okay, wrestling didn't go that good, but what's my priorities in life? And how's my home life? How happy is my son? That should trump anything. That's the ultimate card, and it does. But I really want to hear from you guys. I'm going to try and post different ways of wording it and different questions, but how do you deal with the adversity? How do you deal with the mistakes? How do you come back after a bad match? How do you deal with criticism and failure and people talking down to you and, you know, just all that kind of stuff? How do you deal with it? Even as a fan, like when you see things that you don't like, or, you know, or you had a bad experience at a show, what can make you keep coming back? I mean, everybody I think that's a fan or is involved in wrestling has some sort of love for wrestling. And so no matter what happens, what keeps you with that love? Like, why is that love never unbreakable? Let's hear from you guys always on the W.I.L.L.I.W show. Like or you get a leg drop, comment or you get a clothesline, subscribe or you get a suplex. I know it was a bit of a confusing episode, but I think this is something that needs to be talked about, and I think it was really helpful for me to talk about it, so hopefully it will for other people too. I'm your host, Elian Habanero. I love wrestling. Cuba!